All right, so we are live right now. I mean, it's been a long time coming. I mean, we've been thinking of having this conversation for more than 6 months or even up to a year, and finally we are here to have this conversation. Abel, I am happy and excited that finally we are having this conversation that can help a whole lot of individuals, especially women. All right, so I know that my the topic or what you're seeing at the bottom there, your pastor lied to you about the Hebrew woman. A lot of individuals have they wanted to fight me, they wanted to tear my eyes, they wanted to scratch me my eyes out or punch me in the face about me saying certain things about pastors. But if only they can understand the power of content writing and how to get people to pay attention to what it is all about. But basically, it wasn't about deceiving individuals. It was all about us having this conversation regarding this topic or this concept of Hebrew woman delivery. So I'm excited that I have you here, Abel. Your story is one that people need to listen to. The mission that you have engaged, that you have embarked on, is one that people need to listen to. And I know that you are going to help a whole lot of individuals. Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry, I lost you at some point.
Yeah, I think I went off. Network cut me off.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to get into it right away so that you can tell us your story. So I want you to tell us your story. Why did you I have your book with me here with me? All right. The book is I'm Not a Hebrew Woman.
Yeah.
All I want is safe delivery. That there it is. I have the copy of your book with me, this beautiful book, The Woman on the Bed, and then So tell us, why are you on this mission to liberate women? What's
Okay,
your
the
story?
first thing, yeah, the story behind this is that in 2020, oh sorry, in 2020 when I had my last child, he normally I'm someone who I've had easy vaginal delivery. That's with my previous birth. I've had two babies and they were on the big side, and I had a very smooth childbirth. But then in 2020, when I found out that my baby, my last baby, which is the third, was actually on the big side. He weighed 4.5 kg at birth. But then a day before his birth, the scan revealed that his weight was 4.8 kg. So upon discovering his weight, I decided to opt for an elective cesarean section. I didn't need anybody to convince me. I just told myself I'm not going to push such a big baby, and that was it for me. But then after I had the baby, despite the back and forth with the doctors who tried all they could to make me change my mind, they were like, "You're so young, the baby is big, but you can try. Maybe if something comes up, then we can think about cesarean section." But then my mind was already made up. And when they all discovered that this lady wasn't backing down on her choice of cesarean section, everyone gave in and I had my baby successfully. But then something happened. When I went to the postnatal ward after childbirth, I met someone who at that time was working with FMC, Federal Medical Center, Omahia. She was a nurse with them, but she came down to Owerri because her family and her husband was down there in Owerri, and that was at the peak of COVID. So families were together. So I believe she took maternity leave and all. So she came down to have her child at FMC Owerri. I met her at the postnatal ward, and then we got talking because she was my bedside neighbor. We got talking, and within a short while, she revealed a lot of things about her, and she had complications. She actually had cervical laceration. So she told me she engaged me. She wanted to know why I chose cesarean section without any medical problems or anything. Like you don't have complications, you don't have narrow pelvics and nothing. You just said you want cesarean section. So everyone who heard my story in the postnatal ward, they were wowed. Like imagine this young lady choosing a cesarean section and all that. So she now shared her story with me. She said she wanted to go for a C-section. That was her fourth child as at then. She wanted to go for a C-section, but because her husband and her in-laws held firmly to the Hebrew women belief. They were people who, like, they don't even want to hear anything. And then she said she didn't want to get stigmatized by her people and all. So she gave in. That was why she just had the vaginal delivery, and then which resulted in so many complications like this cervical laceration, excessive bleeding, and all. She took, like, when we were there, she took like 4 pints of blood already. That was, I didn't know how many she took before I came in. We were discharged the same day, on the same day, and then after 1 week after we got discharged, she gave up the ghost. She kept bleeding and bleeding, and then she died. So when she died, while I was at home, people were coming to visit, and I was freely telling everybody I had a C-section. But then there was always this shock registered on people's faces. You had a C-section and you're proud to talk about it. And then women started opening up. Mothers who had cesarean section who came to visit me, they shared their stories. COVID period, people were quite at home, like I said earlier. So they shared their stories, and I got to know how deeply this I am not being a Hebrew woman, or being called a Hebrew woman, or trying to get the Hebrew women's title, has the harm it has actually caused to us, to the society, especially here in Nigeria. I got to discover that women were dying. I took interest after I gave birth. People were dying because they want to be called Hebrew women. Women, a lot of things, babies were dying just because their mothers didn't want to be stigmatized, just because they want to prove that they are strong enough. They didn't want to be called lazy women, and so many stories out there. And then that of the nurse in the at the hospital, I asked myself, if someone who is in the medical field, someone who knew better, of course she's dead, someone who knew better, if she could be affected and then she died just like that, and that is the death that could have been avoided, because of course if she had a cesarean section, she wouldn't have been battling with the complications she had, like the cervical laceration and all that. So I asked myself, if a nurse could be a victim of this, what about people who are not enlightened at all? What about the religious people and all? So because of this, because of her story and that of so many other women out there who shared their story with me, I had to come up with this. I had to document my story and that of her story with that of other women who gave me the go ahead to anonymously share their stories in the book. So that is why we have the book, I Am Not a Hebrew Woman. So I told myself, if because of this, because they want to be called a Hebrew woman and all that, then that means I am not a Hebrew woman. I actually had to exempt myself from that title. So that's why you have the book, I Am Not a Hebrew Woman. All I want is safe delivery, because I know everybody, every pregnant woman, every family with a pregnant wife, sister, or whatsoever, all they want is safe delivery. So that is what I want. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abel. I know that for sure people have been, engaging you on this particular thing about Hebrew women. All right. What would you say? I know that we are not on a biblical exegesis or Bible class, so to say. A lot of individuals say, no, the Hebrew women lied to Herod. Some say, no, it was God who was actually working, and that's how women ought to put to bed. And I'm wondering, okay, why this Hebrew women thing? I mean, why are we singling out the Hebrew women thing? All through the scriptures, all through the Bible, there are things about birth, people giving birth, babies coming. Why are we particularly fixated on the Hebrew woman thing and making a doctrine out of it that women, since God was involved in the Hebrew woman delivery, then every woman must be that way? I mean, people are truly having arguments based on that. Why is this so? What do you think about this particular doctrine?
Okay, for the doctrine, I will say it is flawed. It is flawed because this is a record, according to the book of Exodus, from 1 down to 19, you get to read the story of the Hebrew woman. Now, what a lot of people and a lot of pastors, what these people have failed to understand is that this these Hebrew women, they want to commit infanticide. What is infanticide? Infanticide is when you deliberately have to kill babies who are under 1 year. Like I said, deliberately. Call it murder. That is what it is. Murdering children. Now, babies who are not up to 1 year, babies who are less than 1 year. Now, Pharaoh gave these women an order to kill every male child. Kill every male child. And now these women, these Hebrew midwives, these Egyptian midwives, sorry, they are trained and they are under an oath, which is normal, which every doctor, every health care provider, everyone who works in the health sector get to swear this oath. That is it. You're meant to save lives and not to kill, not to take lives. So they didn't want to commit infanticide. I talked about it in the book. I said that what Pharaoh wanted these people to do was to commit infanticide. And of course, it is one against their profession. A lot of people don't get to understand that killing these babies was even against their profession. It was against what they signed up for. So, and then you get to ask yourself, these were women who had conscience, which the Bible said they had the fear of God. They had conscience. Of course, a lot of people have sold their conscience, but then that was not the case when you come to that of these women. They had conscience. That's the Bible said they had the fear of God. They feared God. So because of that, you get to ask yourself, how many babies do you expect them to kill? How many baby boys? How many? Not one, not two, not three, not 1,000, like kill all. So because of this, these women did not kill any baby. They did not kill any baby. All they did was they had to cook up something to in order to exempt themselves and be able to what will I say? Which word will I use? And be able to avoid the king's wrath from descending on them. Because if they told the king, no, we won't do it, of course, the king would have them killed. Everyone knows that. And the king will also have the babies killed in one way or the other. So they had to come up with something. They had to come up with something. And again, a lot of preachers and a lot of individuals get to forget that Rachel was actually a Hebrew woman, but she died. She died during childbirth. So if you're telling me you're a Hebrew woman, don't forget that a lot of Hebrew women out there are still dying. They died back then, and they are still dying during childbirth. And another thing is, just like you said, a lot of people, like you asked, why people are so like, why do they want this scripture so bad that they have personalized it and all? It's because one, a lot of individuals they are not ready to read and understand. They take their pastor's word for it. Like, they are not ready to research. They are not ready to ask questions. They are scared. Yes, they are. They don't want to be called names, because I know I received a lot of backlash from social media when I published my book. They don't want to be called names. They don't want people to raise eyebrows. So they are okay. The pastor said you will deliver like a Hebrew woman, and that is it for me. I claim it. I will deliver like a Hebrew woman. But then they get to forget that a lot of things also influence the Hebrew women delivery. One, there are people who don't experience painful labor. I am one of them. I had a very smooth childbirth with my first baby and my second baby. Very smooth. I don't experience, I will be in labor and my labor is just vomiting and purging. I don't cry, I don't shout, I don't feel any pain until my baby engages and push, and that's all. I've shared my delivery story on Facebook countless times. My delivery story experience with the first baby, the second baby, and the third child. And these are verifiable stories because the people who handled me are right there on my timeline. And these are people who are attesting to it. So there are women who don't experience pain, like a lot of people say. But then will you say because I don't experience pain, then I'm a Hebrew woman? No, I am a Nigerian. I'm not a Hebrew woman. All I want is safe delivery because safe delivery is all that matters. Thank you, sir. Is there any other question?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. So I would love you to. Can you hear me,
I
Abel?
can hear you loud and
Yeah.
clear. I'm
Okay.
here.
Well, yeah. I would like you to take us on a journey of your book. All right. Before I go to my next question, I want you to take us on a journey of this book. I am not a Hebrew woman. All I want is safe delivery. Tell us about the book. You've told us a little bit about how you started the book, but take us on a journey of the things that are inside of the book and the testimonies that have come as a result of you writing the book, the message of the book. I mean, I have the book with me, but I would like people to hear from you regarding this great book.
Okay, thank you. The book, we have the content of this book. The chapter one talked about the origin of Hebrew women. In chapter one, you get to know about the Hebrew women and then the analysis, where we analyze the Hebrew women kind of delivery. Like I said, one, um, let me just give you a brief. One, these Hebrew women, they were under it was a thing of life and death. Let's say Buhari, we have Buhari as the president of Nigeria now. If Buhari gives an order, excuse me, if Buhari gives an order that we should people or just slaughter or kill or murder any newborn baby, you will get to discover that thousands of women will give birth to their babies right there in their houses without their next door neighbor knowing that this woman has given birth. That was the case of these Hebrew women. There was something, fear. They were scared. They had to save their lives and that of their baby. Of course, every woman listening to me will know that. Every mother listening to me will know that carrying a baby for 9 months is not a joke. So every mom will do everything within their power to save their child. So you get to see that the analysis of the Hebrew women kind of delivery and other reasons, other logical, practical reasons why they did what they did. That's for those of them who did not even experience any pain, because it's I don't doubt people who said that the women had their babies before the midwives arrived. That could be possible. It is something that is possible. A lot of people have done it even in the modern days. It's possible, not like they did it because they want to be the Hebrew women and all. I've seen a woman deliver her baby in Kekenapep. That's tricycle. She was on her way to the hospital when the baby popped out. So it's something that is possible. You can go to check out the chapter 2 of this book to know how I analyzed. I also talked about the God factor and everything. So it's there. Chapter 3, you get to see the encouragement for pregnant women, because fear, a lot of people get scared. They don't know if they will survive it and all. So chapter 3 focused on encouraging pregnant women. Be strong and be courageous. Trust your instincts. That's chapter 3. Then in chapter 4, you get to find out where I said the cesarean section is not a death sentence. Like a lot of people, when the doctor tells them you will deliver, we will have to section you, or we'll have to open you up, or you have a narrow pelvis and all that. A lot of women start crying. They go into shock. They run to their pastors. A lot of things. So that's chapter 4. It's for them. Chapter 3 will encourage them, and chapter 4 is to let them know that cesarean section is a delivery method and not a death sentence. Excuse me. Chapter 5 talked about the role of men during childbirth. Now, a lot of men think pregnancy and childbirth is just for women. All they have to do is look for money, pay the hospital bills, clothe the baby, clothe the mother, feed them, and all. But then, chapter 5, that's the role of men during childbirth. Actually, I broke down the role from pregnancy to childbirth to postpartum to how men can help their wives to recover quickly, how they can help them no matter how busy they are, practical things they can do to help their women recover quickly after childbirth, and ways we can also cut down this postpartum depression issue, because a lot of men don't even know what postpartum depression is all about. They don't even know what their wives are struggling with after childbirth. They just be, oh wow, the baby is out, thank God, and they move out. They go ahead. So this is for people who think the book is only for women. No, we have men who bought the book, and these men they are testifying already. So the chapter 5 is actually for men, for them to know what they ought to do, how they can help, because some of them, they don't even know how they can help. And funny enough, these women don't also know how, some women don't also know how their husbands can help. So that is what chapter 5 will do for them. Chapter 6 is for cesarean section moms who have suffered stigma, who have lost their self-confidence, their self-esteem, and all, who cannot even share their stories, who cannot even give testimonies in the church. Because I'm doing the course of writing this book and interviewing moms, cesarean section moms, a lot of them opened up and they said that during their child dedication, nobody knows, no church member knows that they had cesarean section. Everyone thinks they delivered based on what the church have made them to believe, that you have to deliver like a Hebrew woman. So they come back to the church and say they deliver like Hebrew women and say all kind of lies. And these are real things. So chapter 6 is for them. Be proud of your decision to save a life. Giving birth is not a child play. So it is for women who have suffered stigma from loved ones, from their husbands, from their in-laws, from their friends, colleagues, church members, and all. It is encouraging them. Is that particular chapter is encouraging them to be proud of their decision to save a life, to share their story with the world. Not just keeping their childbirth experience to themselves, because it's going to help someone out there. It's going to help a single lady out there. It's going to encourage another woman out there to take that bold step and sign the consent form and have her baby delivered through cesarean section. So that is what chapter 6 is all about. Then chapter 7, we talked about the risk associated with life in general. Life on its own is a risk. Then the risk associated with both cesarean section and vaginal delivery. Of course, there are risks associated with them. If you say you're not going to leave your house because you don't want to die, disaster can come to you in your house and you will still die. Every day we wake up, we are taking a risk. Every day we will leave our house, we are taking a risk. Once you are pregnant, that's a huge risk. People die during vaginal delivery. People die during cesarean section. And then that's what we discussed in chapter 7. The risk associated with these delivery methods, without hiding anything, without covering anything, it is down there, written down there in chapter 7. Then chapter 8 talks about being yourself and standing up for a fellow woman. This is for women who engage in shaming, public shaming of cesarean section moms, and shutting them up, telling them not to share their stories because they are not women enough, calling them weak and all. It is trying to tell them not to do that, and ways they can actually help another woman. So that is what chapter 8 is all about. Then chapter 9, how to have a cost-effective delivery. How to have a cost-effective delivery, because a lot of people run away from cesarean section because of the costs. Cesarean section is quite expensive. I'm not going to lie. C-section is expensive compared to vaginal delivery. And for now, these two are just the options we have. It's either you have a C-section or you have a vaginal delivery. So C-section can run in 300, 500, 400, depending on the hospital and all, and the circumstances surrounding the birth. So people say they don't want cesarean section. They pray against cesarean section because of the cost implication, the financial implication. Now, chapter 9 of this book details how you can have a cut. Like, okay, let me use myself as an example. When I had my baby, my bill, I had my last baby at FMC Owerri. So my bill after childbirth was what I paid was 3,000 plus 3,400 and some change on top. Unbelievable, right? Yes. So how I did it and the things I did, how I did what I did, the practical steps I took to be able to assess such, I detailed everything. I wrote them down in the book. I wrote everything down in the book. And it's not just limited to C-section. It is something that anyone can do. If you're having a vaginal delivery, you can go for it. A lot of people who have gotten the book, it's quite helping a lot of families to take care of that financial thoughts and everything, knowing fully well that no matter what happens, they are safe. So chapter 9 of this book talked about how not just about the delivery, not just about cost implication of reducing the cost implication, but also how you can access quality healthcare and pay less. So even if you're not pregnant, you can get it to just go through chapter 9, read it, and then apply it in your various lives and all when it comes to assessing quality healthcare and pay less. That is what chapter 9 is all about. Then chapter 10 just talked about me, who I am, and what I do, what I've done so far before writing the books, and every other thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that exhaustive review about your book. Thank you so much, for taking time. I'm an author. I'm an author myself, and I know the work that goes into writing books. I mean, it's a lot of work. The one I'm currently writing now, I mean, it's stressing the hell out of my life, but I know I will get it done. So it's not an easy path. Okay, so somebody's already asking how they can get the book, but we'll come to that later. So I've got about maybe say 2-3 questions to ask you. Now I understand that you're building a movement, right? Building a
Yeah.
movement to help people to understand the myths surrounding the Hebrew women and ideology. How has it been? I mean, do churches invite you to come and speak in their churches? Do NGOs invite you to speak? How has it been? I mean, because it's not an easy path to follow. I know how people laugh at me when I say certain things concerning let me say church or concerning religion or concerning spirituality. I know how some of them come at me. People, you think that you use words in quite empowering manner, but they are ready to go into the gutters for the sake of God, so to say. So how has it been for you? I mean, because I'm asking this question. There are some individuals who want to go on paths that are not the acclaimed paths that people will say things to them that can make them feel depressed. But so far, you have been pushing forth. So what can you say about that journey for you? And so that somebody who is listening, who is also intending or already on the path of doing something that is not just a conventional thing, how can they draw strength from your divergence? Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. First, to be honest with everyone, it was not easy. It was not easy. I received lots and lots of backlash from online, from people online. They told me, no, why will you say you're not a Hebrew woman? Some said I've backslided. Some said I want to draw people to hell. A lot of things. Some said if I've left the church, I should come out plain and say I've left the church and not trying to draw people to hell. But one thing is one persistence and persistence. That's just the word I will use. I never backed down. And another thing, I know I spoke with I spoke with the Don, Mr. Emeka Nobis. I told him see, and then he encouraged me. So getting someone to encourage you is one thing, because man, at some point you will be like, let me just drop everything, because you will feel people are not understanding you, people are not understanding the concept, people will think you're bashing the church, and you're attacking churches, you're attacking the body of Christ, you're attacking pastors, and you've lost your faith. But then I had to persist. Like, I kept sharing my content, I kept sharing stories. And now another thing that helped was I was a voice. I was a voice. Like, it was like a lot of women had it up here. They were just waiting for someone to say this. They were waiting for someone to be their voice. They were waiting for someone to talk about this. So my inbox was actually filled with messages, real life experience then, and every other thing. So I kept sharing them. Gory stories. Like when I say, I will read these stories and I'll be like, wow. But then I will copy the story and I will share it. So people got to see that, man, this thing this girl is doing, this thing this lady is doing, is something everybody should look at. And another thing that would I say helped, let me say fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of people who were bashing me back then got their own experience. Some of them not directly, some of them it was their siblings, some of them their in-laws, some of them their friends and all. So when you get to see them coming back to me, they come to my DM and they'll be like, sorry, I think I need your book. See what happened, I lost someone, or we are at the verge of losing someone. Please talk to this person, speak with this person, encourage her, let her sign it. And that was it. So at some point, I was invited. I was invited to some churches. Actually, invited me back there when I was still in Owerri. I talked about this, and then some individuals also invited me. I know Adeze Chanumba Okezi and so many other people, and even Kaftan TV. Yes, Kaftan TV in Abuja. They invited me also. So a lot of individuals started paying attention to this. And then, Nigeria has the highest maternal mortality. So when people got to see that, man, this is getting out of hand, women are really dying during childbirth. And also, in Nigeria, the cesarean section percent is just 2. Cesarean section is just 2%. Now, cesarean section, this is a betting method that should come as an alternative in some cases, but then it's just 2%. And people who are meant to have a safe delivery through cesarean section were dying. So a lot of people now said, what do we do? And that was where Abigail came up. Everybody was pointing at Abigail, talk to Abigail, speak to Abigail. She has a book, she shared her story and all that. So it actually launched me despite all the backlash. And I can categorically tell you that all the people who unfriended me back then, all the people who said one thing or the other, I can tell you that these people ended up getting the book. They bought the book. They sent in their reviews, wonderful reviews about the book. They recommended and referred people to get the book. They recommended the same book to different people and all that. So it is something that if you want to start something or you have a vision, but man, it is something that is not a common thing out there, or very well that people are going to throw stones and say a lot of bad things. Brace up and start. My people, I'm Igbo, and our people say, "Ana sombabu agogo." Ana sombabu agogo. You don't say because they are going to do this, so you will not step out. No, you have to. You have to encourage yourself, and then get people who will encourage you, and not just encourage you, but give you one or two things that will help you on this journey. Because trust me, you need that encouragement. Mr. Emeka Nobis did. He encouraged me. My husband encouraged me. He was sharing my posts back to back, and a lot of people started encouraging me at some point. People who have lost their children, people who have lost their babies, people who have lost their loved ones, they came in. So the encouragement at some point, I got massive. Till now, I still have massive encouragement from people. So it's not an easy journey, but it's something that is worth doing. Thank you.
Amazing. I like the fact that because you know that people will be blessed by virtue of the work that you do, you have to remain steadfast on this path, and there are results that are showing about it. I mean, looking at how people got the same experience that you are talking about, not them, but maybe their friends or their sisters or someone who is close to them had the experience, and then they began to reach out to you. Okay. Okay, so as we begin to wrap up on this session, can you hear me, Abel? Are you there?
I can hear you. Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so as we begin to wrap up this session, I think I have two more questions left for you. Okay, so regarding your journey, what you have done so far, what are your aspirations like? I mean, going forward, you want to take this beyond, because I know that this is not just affecting Nigerians, also it's affecting. I think they're affecting other Africans. What's your aspiration like? What are you doing to be able to further get this message to a whole lot more women and to change their mentality and orientation regarding this thing about Hebrew women?
Okay, first, I've launched already the Safe Delivery movement. This Safe Delivery movement is, let me call it, a non-profit arm. That is what it is. Is a non-profit arm of this, just derived from the book and all, to make sure we reach out to women all over the world, not just Africans, but women in different parts of the country. Because that was late late 2021. Someone sent me a story from the US where women, she said, it's not faith based. They are not rejecting some. She said some of them, these are white women. The person who sent it is actually a health worker, a certified health worker in the US. So she said that a lot of women were actually turning down, they were rejecting C-section. They want to try the African way. What they call African ways, that's vaginal delivery. So they want to try the African way. And now some of them get to experience prolonged labor, which has also led to the large number of babies born with cerebral palsy and so many other things as a result of complications during childbirth and all that. So she sent me a very gory story, which I shared online, and a lot of people affirmed. So Safe Delivery movement is one of the ways that I have decided to take this message abroad and every other place on the surface of this earth. So through Safe Delivery movement, we've been able to pay for the hospital bills of, I would say, more than 50 women. Because in 2022 alone, we paid for that of 35 women, right? Yeah, 35 women. The record is there. And also we paid for that, and that's just 2020 alone. And this is something that comes from the sales of the book, from the sales and donations people make for this book. When people buy this book, when people donate copies of this book, when people purchase, when people pay for this book to be shared to people who cannot afford it, for me to use the book as giveaway and all, a percentage goes into Safe Delivery movement, into the activities of Safe Delivery movement. And what we do at Safe Delivery movement is to educate women. Currently, I'm in Borno State. I'm in the north. Borno State, and right here in Borno State, we've been to hospitals, we've been to clinics, and you people don't even know, because it's not even online yet. People don't even know that the record higher, like the maternal mortality rate here in the north is quite high compared to that of people in the east, because one, ignorance has taken a lot of people. They don't even get to see the need to go to visit the hospital and register for antenatal. So this is where Safe Delivery movement comes in. After educating them, definitely they will complain about money. They will tell you they don't have the money to go to the clinic. They cannot even register for antenatal. So what we do at Safe Delivery movement is to get these women, especially teenagers, because they get married quite early. You get to see 14 years, 13 years, 12 years, 15 years getting married and with their babies. So we register them with the clinic closest to them, so they can access quality health care and then have a safe delivery. So that's what we do, and that's what I have been doing. I also have someone who got the book from Florida, and then she has been spreading the news. We have people from Kenya. We have people from we have three women from South Africa, and I believe with time, gradually, because it's something I'm doing alone. I don't have sponsors for now. There is no one sponsoring me. There is no one, no partners for now, no financial help from anywhere for now. So it is something that is coming from my pocket, and that is from the sales I make. When I make sales, I then push some percentage into Safe Delivery movement. So I believe that it is something that gradually we will have our presence in different parts of Africa, in different countries, in different, not just Africa, but every other country in the world. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, all right, guys. So if there are questions that you've got to ask before I ask my final question on this session, let me see if there are. So I'm seeing Grace Gabriel from LinkedIn. I'm loving this. I had a C-section in December, and when I say it to people, they feel somehow like I should be hiding it. Okay. Grace Gabriel also asked, who even told people that the Hebrew women gave birth vaginally? All right. So there's a question here. How can I get this book? Frank Acho is asking,
Okay.
how can I get the book?
Frank Acho, to get the book, please send me a message right there on Facebook. After this section, I will attend to everyone, and then we can move down to WhatsApp. But the book is just 3,500 naira only. It's a hard copy book. There is no PDF. It's a hard copy. 3,500 naira only, and delivery fee is 2,500 naira to your location. So to get the book, just leave me a message, and I will attend to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, so a few other people. I see Oluchimado all the way from United Kingdom. Titilope, what of people that have done up to 5 CS? And I don't know if that one is a question or what. I don't know what that means, but she's what people that have done up to 5 CS and then she has a question mark on it. No woman should die giving birth. This is Ugo Nachi. CS could save a lot of women. Keep spreading the message. Okay. All right. So finally, the question I want to ask you, for those women who have done CS, I remember in my church also, I remember a particular woman like that. I think she didn't put to bed. She didn't give birth. I think she adopted, and the way she gave her testimony, I mean, for some of my close friends who knew the woman at the time, I don't think this woman was pregnant. I've never seen her being pregnant, but the way she gave the testimony was like as if she had babies. And sometimes why they do such things, that when they give such testimonies, people feel like, I mean, maybe the power of God is not existent anymore. God can do everything. So if you come to the altar to say that you adopted a child, it looked like as if don't have faith, and that you couldn't wait on God to give you your own children. So what can you say to women who have had CS, or the ones who are intending to, and the ones who are currently feeling, how do I put it now, feeling not proud about it, to speak about it, to speak up, to share with other people? What can you share? What can you say to them, regarding this message that you're spreading to the world?
Okay, first, I will tell them that they gave, be proud of yourself. You need to understand, like I've always said, we only have two delivery methods. It's either you give birth through cesarean section, or you give birth through vaginal delivery. These two, there is no other option. For now, we've not been given an option to vomit our babies until maybe technology brings out something, or who knows. But until then, be proud of your decision to save a life. And that is also why they should all get a copy of this book. Excuse me. Because in this book, I actually penned down, like I said, I dedicated a chapter for women who have actually been shamed, who have suffered stigma, who have been made to believe that they did not access the grace, because that is what it looks like. Who have been made to believe that they didn't have the grace sufficient in their lives, like some other people. Maybe they did not pray enough, maybe they did not have faith enough, or they did not believe enough, and all that. No, it is not the case. What matters is being alive, to carry your baby, to nurture your baby, and to take care of yourself. And that's nothing else. Cappies, that's what matters. To be alive, have your baby alive. And once you've been able to achieve this, which is what I call safe delivery, mother alive, baby alive. Once the mother is alive, hell and hearty, the baby is alive, hell and hearty. Every other person who has a different opinion can go to hell. Be proud to share your story. You are not sharing your story because of whatever you might be thinking, but share it just so you can save a life. Share it so you can give another person hope. Share it so another person can conquer their fears. That is what my story did for a lot of women. Now people come in and they tag me, I just gave birth to a baby. Thank you so much for your book. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for your live sections. Thank you this, thank you that. Just because I shared my story. If I did not share my story, or if I went to the church and I talked about how I gave birth to my baby, a 4.5 kg baby, as a Hebrew woman, what do you think would have happened? And that is also why when I talk to pastors, I tell them, please pray for your members to have their babies, to have a safe delivery. Cut down on talking about this Hebrew women thing. Or if you insist, make sure you educate them. Educate them. But sadly, some pastors are not even enlightened. That is the truth. They are not even enlightened. There are pastors I have had to enlighten because they came to my inbox and they said, okay, I've heard you talk about this. I'm a pastor a church. I've made a mistake based on I've been following you and this. I have noticed I've made a lot of mistakes. So please educate me. And it's always a pleasure to have this discussion with them. I school them, we talk, we have the discussion. And I'm sure they go back to their churches and they do the right thing. They make amendments, educate their members on what to do. So if you had a C-section, get the book. It will encourage you. It will encourage you, and it will help you share your story. It will give you there's this boldness that comes with it. Like you won't ever want to hide your delivery story, knowing fully whether it's something that will encourage someone out there. You won't ever need to hide it. You won't ever need to lie about your delivery process and the story. You won't ever need to do that. So if it's something that is worth doing if handled by skilled medical doctors. Like I said, there are complications associated with both vaginal delivery and cesarean section, which I wrote down in the book. I talked about them in the book. But then if you're in good hands, if you have a good doctor, there is nothing to worry about. I didn't have any complications. I was very okay, totally fine, and everything went well. Likewise, some other women. So that can be your story. Don't be scared. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so some individuals are saying that they will need the book. So you reach out to Abel at the end of the session and you can be able to get the book for yourself. Okay, so thank you so much. We've done 48 minutes so far on this conversation. So I want you to give us your final words. I didn't know you had, I met you in Owerri. Have you relocated to Maiduguri? I don't know. All right. Are you there, Belle?
I can hear you loud and clear. I'm here.
Okay. I said you're no longer in Owerri.
I'm no longer in Owerri. I relocated with my kids. I joined my husband down here. You know, when you came, I told you something then. That my husband was not with us. He was working down here. So the kids and I joined him a year ago.
Oh, fantastic. So how has it been in the north?
Very fine. I would say fine. This particular area, this is not Maiduguri. I'm not in Maiduguri. Maiduguri is actually the place that has issues. But where I am is a peaceful local government. Is okay.
Okay, fantastic. So final words for us.
Okay. What I will say is no woman deserves to die during childbirth. This is something I say in almost all my posts. I say this always. No woman, if you're listening to me and you're a woman, you're pregnant, or you are looking to get pregnant, you don't deserve to die during childbirth. No woman deserves to die during childbirth. And there are things we can do. What are these things we can do? Go for the safer delivery method. If vaginal delivery is safe, you're okay, you don't have any need, your baby is not big, no preeclampsia, no issues at all, like everything is okay, and vaginal delivery is okay for you, beautiful. Like I said earlier, I had two of my babies. My first baby weighed 3.9 kg. My second baby weighed 3.8 kg. So I've always had big babies, and I had them vaginally. So there's nothing wrong with vaginal delivery. For people who will be thinking, oh, is she just saying something is wrong? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Just go for the safest. We have two options. If vaginal delivery is safe for you, beautiful, go for it. And what matters having is having a safe delivery. But if you've weighed your options, like I did when I was told that my baby was 4.8 kg, according to the scan a day before I gave birth to him. I didn't need any man of God or anybody to tell me. I didn't even need the doctors to say, we are going to have a C-section. I had to. I said I'm doing that, and that was it. So if after weighing your options, you've seen that cesarean section is the best, I will tell you, don't even bother saying let's try. Maybe after trying, if this one doesn't work, this one will work. What I'm saying is that while you are trying, anything can go wrong. Every minute counts at that moment. While you are trying, you might successfully deliver the baby. But what about your hips? Some people have suffered their dislocation on their hip bone and every other thing. What about as you go? As you grow old, the pain, you won't even be able to walk, or so many complications that might not be an immediate complication. Like my mother, she had a big baby. I was 5.0 kg according to her. So these are the things. Don't endanger your life because you want to get other people to validate how strong you are as a woman. You don't have to endanger your life to prove that you're a strong woman. You've been strong. Carrying 9 months pregnancy is not a child's play. You don't need to prove to your church members that you have faith. You've prayed enough, and you're God's daughter and all that. Of course you are, and God loves you. So you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need anybody to validate you. Go and have a safe delivery. That is what I have for you. No woman deserves to die during childbirth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abel. God bless you for deciding to be part of this session. Thank you for being part of this session. And I'm glad that we eventually had this conversation. I wish you all the best that you can do. I mean, you're very far away now. It means I can't see you anytime I go to where anymore. But God is with you in all that you do. Stay safe consistently. Keep pushing the message. Keep spreading the word. And keep growing the movement. We believe that by virtue of what it is that you're doing, a whole lot of women will be saved. Ideologies, these stupid ideologies in the minds of people will be washed away. So thank you so much for this conversation. I do hope that a lot of people who joined us today have become blessed by virtue of what you shared. I let people reach out to you to get copies of your book. I wish you success in all the things that you do. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right. So from me to you, all the way in Borno State, and to everyone who joined us from different parts of Nigeria and outside of Nigeria, God bless you, everyone, for being part of this conversation today. Goodbye.
Bye.